Alright guys, welcome to another edition of the Anything Wrestling Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we're going to be reviewing Extreme Rules 2018. We got a triple threat going. Today I got my two buddies. I got the Commish and I got Dan the Man. How you guys doing?
Botchamania just went down.
Indeed. Indeed.
You guys will figure out what we're talking about as we get into it with the matches.
We're still trying to figure it out. Well, let's get started. So, we got the kickoff show. Sin Cara versus Andrade Cien Almas.
It was just like a kickoff show. So sometimes it could be great, sometimes it could be lackluster. I just felt like this was a real gimme throwaway.
Very much throwaway.
Like I told you guys before we started, I didn't actually know that this match was on the card at all. So sorry, Andrade and Sin Cara.
Look, it gets to the point that like we're not only are we telling you what we felt about this event, but we also are letting you know who we thought was gonna win it. If we didn't even pick a winner for this match, then that says a lot.
Who did we pick for this?
Nobody.
No one.
We just watched this match, just like the event.
We go to our second kickoff match. We got the New Day versus Sanity. Now, it's kind of at that point where the pay-per-view, you're waiting for it to start, and, again, a little bit of a throwaway match, but, Sanity has been on the losing end since they debuted, so I was looking for Sanity to win this, and honestly, I feel like if these guys can get a decent amount of time, they can give you a 5-star match. So, what did you guys think?
I was still pulling for New Day to win.
I thought the same thing where it was just like, you have two good teams.
Yeah.
This is the first time, I think, in a while that we see all participants of a team really, go into a match. And especially for something, the event is called Extreme Rules. It's a table match. There was hardly any extreme to the table.
I think
there's hardly any table to the match.
I think that's been the biggest problem, is that while it's been called Extreme Rules, is that it hasn't exactly been extreme.
Yeah.
So this was also like a whatever kind of throwaway, but at the same time, you kind of have high expectations for it.
Especially being the match right before the show.
Definitely.
Because then that's what's supposed to catapult you into being excited for what's about to happen.
And it sucks to say, New Day has had a little bit of a reputation of being on the kickoff show, but they've proven that even if they are on the kickoff show, they can give you a match where they can get you hyped up. So,
but did it feel like, Kofi was kind of carrying the match on his own with Big E and, X not really doing as much?
I don't know.
That's what I felt. It took a while for them to get the motion right. To get him through the table, it's like, okay, he's still climbing up there. He's still climbing. He's holding him right there, like, are you going to get here or not?
Just a second.
Because then at that point, honestly, who was it? Alexander?
Is that our notion to righteous censor there? Just a second? Just a second?
But in the amount of time that, I think it was Alexander Wolf, right? Was holding Kofi there?
Yeah.
He could have just dropped him, and Kofi's body weight would have carried him through the table. We didn't need the elbow drop.
So we got pre-Botchamania.
Even before the actual show.
And to your credit, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing for New Day to have found this spot where they're consistently on the kickoff show, because you're still kind of on the show. But I think that them being consistently there suggests that maybe they're a good hype team.
But would you say that it's a little bit of a demotion?
Not necessarily, because it means that they trust New Day to carry people into the show.
Because if you think about it, way before it was like a kickoff show, everyone remembers all WWE events used to have the free pay-per-view half-hour show called the Free-For-All.
Yeah.
Because it's literally free-for-all if you couldn't afford it for the now reasonable price of $9.99. You're welcome, WWE. But you always have at least someone that you can trust that is supposed to be a main card eventer to carry the show into it. You don't have to worry about we're putting our C-list or D-list wrestlers to start the show off. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they've been the one tag team where they've been going for a couple of years. They have their own merch, and they know what they are.
They're
not
their own brand.
They're not just slapped together. So I don't know. I don't want to say they should get the red carpet treatment, but maybe a bump to the first match on the card would have been at least the first match. Speaking of the main card, we're gonna be going in out of order here. So we got Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens, a steel cage match. Now, I got 2 words for you: soft cushion.
If you guys didn't catch that,
basically there was a cushion underneath the announce table. Go back and watch it.
You'll see it. Trust me. In the 20 different angles that they replayed, what I thought was a nod to an extreme moment, horrendously ruined when you catch that cushion.
Well, I mean, what did you guys think of the match before we get to the most extreme spot of the night? I think. What did you guys think of the match?
Well, like we discussed, I think we were unanimous, weren't we?
For Braun winning the match?
So we all thought that Braun was going to win. And I mean, didn't he win?
On a technical standpoint, no, but he did win.
Well, he walked out.
I think that's
in my heart. He won.
I think that's kind of what we ignored was we saw Braun leave triumphant, even though he got the L technically. So I don't think we were necessarily wrong. I think we just didn't look at it from all the possible angles.
So you're saying it's kind of like he's still the victor of it no matter what, even though on paper he's the one who lost, even though he won much more out of it.
He was the last man standing.
There it is.
Anyway,
Money in the Bank is available on WWE Network for rewatching for only $9.99.
I thought the match was okay. I think it lent itself to more. I called the handcuff spot. He had to break it, but you're right. While we were watching, we watched him struggle with these handcuffs for 5 minutes. Come on. It's Braun Strowman.
So here's my thing. Like I've told you guys before, and I even said it before the match, I currently think the WWE is underutilizing one of their best talents with Braun. Because, you haven't had someone with this much brute strength and, aggression since the Big Show. And before him, I don't think you really had that with anybody unless it was Kane or Kevin Nash as Diesel. There's always that one big man that was there to wreak havoc. That was there to, just be the strong guy.
I can do whatever I want, so I'll do it.
Exactly. And you're supposed to have him be put into these great matches like cage matches or I can't believe I'm forgetting it again.
Elimination
Chamber. Or just any match that would go in his favor, and you're putting him to lose.
Well,
or you're putting him against weak competition.
I mean, I think you guys have probably picked this out, is that once you get that Money in the Bank briefcase, even if you do go on a little short-term losing streak, it's like he's still got the briefcase. So it's fine, let him, he's going to cash and he's going to have his money. Like Carmella was the same thing. She won last year and she just lost every single match afterwards until she cashed in, and it's like, okay, she got her moment. So maybe it's the same deal with Braun. And I think they were teasing the steel cage breaking again, like the Greatest Royal Rumble, available on the WWE Network
for $9.99.
Not $10, $9.99. Yeah, because Braun Strowman just kept on, throwing Kevin Owens into the cage, and we're like, okay, it's gonna break. But they went with the full-on Attitude Era spot where, speaking of, we saw a DX chop in this match.
So my thing is, though, when you saw the DX chop, the suck it, were you pissed that it happened, or just caught off guard that, is Kevin Owens still trying to come off as oh, I'm still that guy that does whatever he wants, or is it he's trying to pay homage to an era that he misses, or that we all miss as fans?
Well, because they've been saying from day one that Kevin Owens has been Triple H's protege, that he's been Triple H has been guiding him and just giving a good word for him. So I don't even know how to explain it.
I think he's kind of been touted as sort of the old school style of heel, hasn't he? like in
Kind
his
of.
approach to his
Well,
character.
the way I see him is like he does come off as a heel, which
Yeah.
is what real fans love. But at the same time, it's like I get where Triple H is trying to push him in the direction that he wants him to be like, you're that guy.
Yeah.
That reminds us of what we grew up with as fans. Not necessarily at the right moment. Did that need to happen?
I think that's kind of what I'm trying to
Well,
get at.
it was intended to be the catalyst for Braun to rip the handcuffs off.
Which did happen afterwards.
So
Well, I mean, he could have just, I don't know.
He could have done it 4 minutes and 55 seconds beforehand. Yes, he could have. He could have ripped out of it. But no.
What did you
Worse
guys
so.
think of this spot? I thought it was the most extreme moment of the entire night. It's just Braun just chucking Kevin Owens off that
yeah.
steel cage and just crashing down to that announce table
there were no better spots than that one.
That's the only extreme moment.
with the
Yeah.
cushion.
Hey man, soft landing.
The best part is the table got put back together soon.
I think they just reinflated it. I don't.
Oh,
Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley
You got a weird,
John
you got a
Cena
weird list order.
2.0.
versus Bob the Builder.
Ugh.
I think we are in for the shock of the century. Bobby Lashley finished the match without a headband.
Why weren't you wearing a headband?
But the question beforehand, when he
Was-
first came out,
Why are you wearing a headband?
okay, so to those of you who are speculating why we're so adamant about this, it wasn't until I think one of our good friends pointed it out, he doesn't have eyebrows. Not to say that that's a bad thing or
You
anything.
could go see that in HD, only on the WWE Network.
For how much?
$9.99.
What move is that on the list?
We don't have the list right now, I'm sorry.
What, move $9.99? It's a Peruvian necktie.
AKA the list.
But in all seriousness, I thought that Roman Reigns was gonna win because I have this whole thing where I kind of look at the year they've been having. I'm like, okay, he loses at the Rumble,
Yay.
loses at Mania,
Yay.
loses at the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Yay.
I feel like they were teasing, like, yeah, Roman, we're still pushing him. He's gonna get to that title picture, and he loses to his own move. And thank God we didn't have to seal like 20 spears. It was only one spear. But what did you guys think of the match? And Bobby Lashley wins.
Well, before we start reviewing it, we did say two of us thought Bob the Builder was going to win this, and one person, who the hell cares about this match?
Was that you?
I was the who the hell cares.
Go ahead, Dan.
I was fairly impartial toward the match as a whole, also, but I don't know. I feel like they're trying to get to the point where they can do they might be able to run a Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley match before Brock actually dips.
To add to that, remember, before this match, we did get a special announcement from Kurt Angle that Brock Lesnar has to let the WWE know what his intentions are with that belt or his job. Two, I think with this match between Bobby and Roman, like, honestly,
It's Bob.
headband, I just feel like the victory did go to the right wrestler. Personally, if I did have to pick, I wanted Bobby Lashley to win. I think as he said to the dog, he's technically the only man who really has put Brock Lesnar in his place, who's built to beat Brock Lesnar. And the fact that it's like, okay, Roman Reigns is supposed to be your face of the company. He's supposed to be what carries the WWE, but he has no championship. He's lost at almost all pay-per-view events so far
For only $9.99.
on the WWE Network. And you bring in Bobby Lashley. Like, what is this saying? Like, are they trying to move in a new direction all of a sudden? Or is this a build-up that where Bobby Lashley does win the title, let's say SummerSlam, if he gets the opportunity, and then maybe leading into the fall, it's Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley, or John Cena 2.0 versus Bob the Builder again.
Well, I think since after WrestleMania, there's been rumblings that the company is no longer putting their eggs into Roman's basket. Like, they're moving on to something else.
Well, how many eggs have they put into that basket at this point?
$9.99.
And it's only produced like bad results on the WWE network.
Well, we've kind of discussed before that I think Roman is a victim of circumstance, because he had an opportunity to be pushed at the right time. They didn't do it. And then when they decided to roll with him, it was the wrong time.
Yeah.
And now we're here, and they've lost a lot of the fans. And I think this might, I don't know if they're necessarily dumping out the basket, but I feel like they might be trying to reset at this point, where they take him all the way back down to ground level. They show that he's vulnerable, which up to this point they hadn't. They were like, no, this is Roman Reigns. He's the guy. He's going to beat everybody. He's going to touch his feet to the floor first and not win the title off Brock Lesnar.
Wrong.
So many
parts.
And so I think that this is more them pressing a reset button, and just, I think Bobby is a temporary. I think he is
Just a placeholder?
I think he's a temporary replacement. Like, have you seen Indiana Jones?
Yes.
You know when he swaps out the idol with the bag?
Yeah.
I think Bobby's the bag.
Well, then you got Strowman with the briefcase, so... Because I was thinking, if you want a logical storyline perspective, you have Braun come out and say, I want to cash in at SummerSlam. I have a right as someone who won the contract, and if Brock doesn't want to do that, then that's breach of contract. You got a storyline right there. So if Bobby does win, or Bob, you got Strowman, who's got that briefcase just dangling in his hand, like, hey, I'm here. So, I mean, I don't know. You were surprised when Roman lost. You're like, wow, he actually jobbed.
Well, because he jobbed so well for once. Every other time he's lost, it's like...
And it wasn't even like you had his 17 Superman Punch 3 spear comeback.
Like,
he just lost.
He lost clean to one spear. Have we seen that recently? No.
Or ever.
The last few matches we've seen, oh, here's another Superman Punch. Oh, he gets the 2 count.
And here's 27 F5s.
Oh, he still kicks out.
More than it took to beat The Undertaker and break his streak at WrestleMania, which should have never happened in the first place. Go ahead.
Sean's not bitter.
Not at all.
At all.
But you get what I mean. Like, it's a clean finish to a match that I thought was a throwaway because of who was in it. And I just think, personally, like, he did the right thing for once.
Yeah, and in that same vein, I do think it's interesting that they put Lashley over with him using each of his finishers once. Meanwhile, they've done the Brock Lesnar where Roman kicks out his 7 F5s. So apparently Bobby is stronger than Brock? Is that true, Brock? Real quick, I'm still interested in the idea of Braun Strowman cashing in at UFC.
I mean, they got a lot of cross-promotional stuff happening, so I mean...
Because UFC fans would be so pissed if right after Brock fights Daniel Cormier, you hear, "Aah!" and a WWE wrestler comes down and just beats him up.
Those cross-promotional stuff, I don't think it's very far off. Just saying. Now we got Finn Balor versus the Constable, personally appointed by Stephanie. You're welcome. Baron Corbin.
So we all voted that Balor was who we thought was going to win.
I was outnumbered because everyone who was watching thought that Baron Corbin was going to win. I was the only guy who was pushing for Finn Balor.
Well, I mean, we kind of talked about that. I wanted Finn to win. I just expected Baron Corbin to win.
First of all, you were annoyed with the fact of how Baron Corbin even came out to the match.
Why are you wearing a vest?
And?
Slacks?
Yeah.
And?
Dress shoes.
I didn't see the dress shoes.
Oh,
I'll let those slide.
No, I can't. I'm not going to.
Corporate Kane did it.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
You know what
Kane's
else?
been around.
You know what else Kane wore? A walking boot.
Which we'll get
back to. But continue.
I just thought with this match, it's like, okay, there's gonna be a twist. There's gonna be at one point if Balor wins. Oh wait. This never really happened because of such and such stipulation. Restart the match. But no, like he legitimately won the fight. And honestly, like I've told you before, I think Finn Balor is a great talent.
Yeah.
But right now they're underutilized. Another wrestler that's being underutilized, who has the potential to be something big. But I still like the Demon Balor as opposed to just regular Finn Balor. The club Finn Balor as he's known. But with this match, like it was entertaining. It was pretty good on a technical standpoint, but I could have done without it. In a way, from the whole event.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like
there was nothing.
Where's this story going?
There was nothing extreme about it either.
Yeah.
It was just a regular match.
Yeah.
We got the Bludgeon Brothers versus Team Hell No for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. There was a segment backstage where they get attacked a couple matches before. And, okay, so if some of you guys don't know, Hulk Hogan now is officially a thing again in WWE. He's back into the Hall of Fame. He was mingling backstage yesterday.
And was he going to make an appearance?
We were thinking maybe he steps in and we kind of do like a deal that they did back in 2002 with Edge where, Hulkamania comes back and tag team champions. But no, we got something very, very different. So it looks like Kane is actually injured.
Which we didn't know going into this.
Yeah. So Bludgeon Brothers retain. No surprise really here of any kind. So.
And a pretty garbage match. Like, it was a pretty lackluster match.
I think at one point as we were watching it, Sean was telling me to wake up. But I couldn't because how boring this match was. But even when Kane came out, I'm like, okay, this is getting me excited. What the hell is that on his foot?
Why are you wearing a walking boot?
Thank you. Like, really, you just weakened possibly one of my favorite wrestlers with that boot. It's so bad.
Was that worse than Corporate Kane?
I don't know.
Never mind.
But yeah, the severity of this injury also brings to question
the state
what
of
do we
Team
do?
Hell No.
Like,
Team Hell No just came back and it just lost.
yeah.
Well,
a strong part.
Think about how they can capitalize on this. So if Kane is really injured, you can have Daniel Bryan, who maybe at SummerSlam gets a mystery partner. They become the tag team champions.
Oh,
and then they have that whole storyline where Kane, when he heals up, Daniel Bryan goes, I'm the tag team champions, and Kane doesn't really have that counter argument, and then they can bicker about that, and not in a bad way, but that's the whole gimmick of Team Hell No. So I think at SummerSlam we're gonna see a lot of rematches with better results. Anyway, moving on, we got the Deleters of Worlds versus the B Team for the Raw Tag Team Championship. I called this one. I said the B Team wins, and the Deleters of Worlds they have their own feud, which they should have had, I think, like a year ago.
So this is okay. Before we go into it, obviously in the kickoff show you had the 6-man tag, a tag team match, and then you go into the start of the show, another tag team match. This match wasn't as exciting. Yeah, granted that we have new tag team champions, which their post-interview was the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. Even the reference to who landed on the moon.
Stretch Armstrong, obviously.
How did Stretch Armstrong feel when he first landed on the moon?
He feels a little squishy.
Oh my goodness.
Like that cushion?
Oh God, no, worse.
I think that sometimes WWE nails it on the head where they have the opening match, and sometimes they get you hyped, like Money in the Bank where they had Daniel Bryan and Big Cass. They got everyone fired up. Everyone was yesing and they were into it, and Big Cass actually, carried his own, and they had a great match.
And then he got fired.
Okay.
But yeah, this match was just like.
But
okay.
Sometimes they'll go the other route where there will be a title change, so there's some excitement, but it's very much lackluster.
This title change was that. It was like whatever. It's like, okay, this is the only way that what's his name finally gets a victory.
Curtis Axel.
But he didn't even get the pin. Bo got it.
That's what happens when you believe.
Thank you for that.
Well, I think afterwards we immediately stated how we didn't think that this title run would last for very long.
But the thing you want to happen, I actually would want to happen now. A whole angle of, Matt and Bray going into their own problems. That would be something good to see.
Actually, I think B Team might retain tonight, and that's where you'll see the actual
frustration
fracture between these two.
Okay.
So they get their rematch immediately.
Yeah.
But they still end up losing.
Yep. And then they have to go talk to Dr. Shelby.
Oh. Can we? Okay. I need to move from that.
You'll
I don't
have
want to get into that.
Sasha and Bailey in a group session with those
Not
two.
helping, Dan.
Hire me, WWE.
Seriously, he'll write good storylines. With this match, I didn't have high hopes. I wanted Asuka or Asuka, however you want to pronounce it, WWE Network. I wanted her to win. I knew there was going to be something with the cage going on.
Shenanigans.
There's always shenanigans. But I think this is the worst shenanigans I've ever seen in a Shark Tank cage.
And Ellsworth, why are you wearing a body harness?
That you couldn't even do that and hiding it right.
Like, tuck your shirt in, bro.
I don't think he has the body.
Wear
really
suspenders.
Hide anything?
Reverse suspenders. But yeah, it didn't play well, and it was just kind of awkward. You had him bringing the whole arsenal in his Drake coat, and dropping a chain a la John Cena. The spray
was
can.
that John Cena's Thug Life chain?
Not the exact
I could've
one, but
sworn.
it was
Was
just a chain.
It looked like it.
But so neither item gets used because Asuka's ready. Asuka's ready for Carmella, and then she gets to pinata James Ellsworth, and then she still gets hosed.
Well, we were wondering why that cage was so lowered. I mean, because all the previous ones, that shark cage
They're
is like
15, 20 feet high.
yeah. But I mean, now we know because it was gimmicked for the finish.
And then what's worse is we call the gimmick. We call the gimmick in so many different ways, but it ends up like that, and it's like, okay, this is by far one of the worst botches ever, other than the inflatable table.
Which got put back
The
together.
inflatable.
This one was interesting. Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States Championship. They're already face palming, by the way. I'm gonna be honest. I like the result because I feel like Jeff.
As quick as it was,
There was no match.
Was it longer than the overtime match for Ziggler and Seth?
yes, that at least it was,
Yeah,
because it took,
because Shin had to line up for the Kinshasa.
and it took how long to get him ready to do it right? It took a while, and then all of a sudden, like, well, before that, which I don't know why the referee didn't even see this coming.
Okay, think about it like this. So Jeff Hardy, the Enigma, he's got the face paint back, and I feel like whether Jeff is or is not wearing a title, he's going to be on the card. He's relevant because of the high flying and one half of the Hardys and Brother Nero, and so that's great. Shinsuke, he's coming off a feud with AJ, which we thought he was going to win the title. He doesn't. So I think now I feel like with the U.S. title, he's going to have that leverage where he can just low blow his way to a victory, to getting disqualified and keeping the title. So I like the result. I wasn't expecting it in 9-10 seconds. But what did you guys think?
I mean, like I said, I felt like Shinsuke needed to be given something.
Something,
after that. I don't want to call it a debauchery with.
I do.
Because their last
with
match was
AJ,
great.
but
Money in the Bank was great.
But just the fact of the matter that he wins the Rumble. A lot of times you see the Rumble winner win the title.
Yeah.
We go into a 3-4 match feud.
Well, it was 4, but the last one was not for the title. It was a SmackDown live match.
Yeah.
So,
So
4.
three matches for the title, and Shinsuke just loses all of them.
Well, the Greatest Royal Rumble was a double countout, and Money. No, there was another one.
Okay, so he doesn't win all of them.
Or lose.
Um,
Can I just throw this in?
Please.
2 great athletes. 1 bad ending. 1 freaky plot twist with what happened after Shinsuke won.
Do you hear voices?
Is it
I
in
hear
your
them
head?
calling. They talk to me.
Is it burning in your light?
Yes, it is.
Wrong theme song.
Seriously, you went the wrong way. Close though.
Much like the WWE.
Hey,
For $9.99. But
little tangent. Sorry. Continue.
the fact that was it ironic timing to bring Randy Orton back?
I'm just trying to figure out what
the angle of the story is?
Because, okay, we've established this is the anti-hero era. There is not a clear-cut heel or face anymore. So I'm just trying to figure out, Randy Orton comes out, low blows Jeff. Does he not want Jeff to have kids anymore? Is that what we're going with here?
And it figures he's had enough.
That's the storyline. No more kids, Jeff.
Or we're wondering, is this something to get into the head of Shinsuke?
Battle of the Blows?
A low blow match. The first person to low blow their opponent wins the match.
That would be ludicrous.
But imagine how long that would take.
9-10 seconds.
I'd watch it once.
And only once. Would you only watch it once on the WWE network?
For $9.99?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
No commitments. Cancel anytime.
But yeah, I was so disappointed because I've grown up as a Jeff Hardy fan. Shinsuke has shown to me he's a great wrestler. You give him this opportunity, and what does it turn into? 1 low blow and it's over?
All right.
Come on.
I know I said this earlier, and I know you guys are not fond of it, but again, I feel like 3 or 4 of these matches we're going to see again at SummerSlam with a much bigger outcome.
Or an actual match
Yeah.
that lasts longer than a minute.
I think we're done with Shinsuke and Jeff.
Are we?
I think we're done with Shinsuke. Jeff has more to offer.
Well, I mean, I think
As far as
think
those two
Randy
go.
and Shinsuke are going to feud. I think that despite the fact that
Like
the
Jeff's
attack
the
was to
throwaway.
Jeff, I think it was to send a message to Shinsuke, because otherwise Shinsuke would have been like, oh, well, I'm just going to leave, whatever.
Like Jeff's the throwaway in this whole equation. Because Randy did stare him down the whole time as he was doing what he was doing to Jeff.
And so, yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to see Randy and Shinsuke at SummerSlam. Maybe a triple threat.
Triple threat, I was going to say.
But we'll see.
We got Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey sitting at ringside.
Which is supposed to be an Extreme Rules match.
Well, if you want to talk about using weapons, this was the one match where they actually used
This
weapons.
is the only match with weapons.
Garbage cans, kendo
Kendos.
sticks.
No, crappy kendo sticks. Because I've never seen one be broken so easily like that.
Hey, man.
The dominant force.
It lends itself to the carnage.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we all knew this was coming. Ronda Rousey's gonna jump over the barricade. She barely is able to
Contain herself.
but Alexa Bliss walks away with the title, and I think it was fair because Alexa has lost time after time to Nia.
You're not saying that on a biased opinion, are you?
No, literally, WrestleMania, Backlash, shenanigans. She's never had one. Well, except Money in the Bank when she
Did I
cashed
miss
in.
shenanigans?
I think I missed shenanigans.
Jeez.
On more than one occasion, but you can find it on the WWE Network for only $9.99.
Don't look too hard, though. I don't think it's actually there.
But I've said it for about a month now that I think we're going into a triple threat with Ronda, Nia, and Alexa. And for the love of God, I hope that the whole Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss storyline gets finished.
Yeah.
Because we've had 10? It's become the Dolph Ziggler versus the Miz of the women's division.
Yeah.
It could be good, but we just see it time
I feel
after
like you
time.
don't see anything growing out of it. I feel like you don't see potential out of it. I personally also feel that way because at this point, you're wearing them thin. Now you're adding Ronda Rousey to the mix. I immediately get a push within the first year of being in the WWE.
The WWE was always my first passion, but I'll go to UFC for now. Go ahead.
He has a certain issue with Ronda. We're not going to really discuss in this episode.
Well, we all do. I mean, come on. We've been upfront about this on the previous podcasts.
I just think that this match, it could have been a little more extreme, but at the same time, I thought it was placed very well. And even then, as I don't know if Dan, you said it, or if one of our other friends said it while we were watching this match. It took Nia Jax, Ronda Rousey,
Trish Stratus. Sorry, Natty.
Yeah, I'm sorry. All blondes are looking the same right now. And Alexa Bliss still won.
But that's the best part.
She proved that she could hang. She put on a better match than Camilla did.
Feisty little heel.
Camilla?
You know what I mean.
Oh, her.
Carmela.
Caramel.
Might as well be her name. Jesus.
Caramel face. But you can see, like, obviously with this match, it's like, it had potential. It was finally the second closest extreme thing to Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
It was something.
It was something better than nothing,
yeah,
to be honest.
Exactly.
But yeah, this match was like, at this point, you're going to lean into SummerSlam. It's going to be a triple threat. Ronda's going to be unsuspended.
Well,
or she might be unsuspended as of tonight because, honestly, she kind of violated her suspension, if you think about it.
It's the WWE. They don't even pay attention to that.
Exactly.
What about you, Dan? I mean, just...
Well, this is... I like to bring this up occasionally because it's fun, but this is like a 12-week feud on GM mode that's gone south. I don't think the crowd is really vibing with Nia and Alexa as a feud anymore. I'm not. I think you guys pretty much made it clear you're not. Move on.
Over it.
Like, I don't even like the idea of the triple threat between the three of them because I want those two separated.
Well, I mean, because the way that it's like, if Alexa Bliss and Nia are doing their thing, Ronda somehow finds her way into it. When Ronda and Nia were doing their thing, Alexa somehow finds her way into it. So there's like all these collisions of just these three always being, in the same place at the same time.
That's why it's exhausting because now you're secluding yourself off into just these three. I'd rather see Alexa versus Ember, but as long as Ronda's around, probably not going to happen.
Raw has an entire roster of female athletes that are ready. To give well, I'm sorry, most of them are in therapy. The others are
I was being sarcastic.
Oh no, I was being realistic. But you know what I mean. They do have a roster of contenders that could live up to finally give Alexa Bliss a good shot, or at least a decent match. Maybe you have this little heel. I think she's probably the best women's heel I've seen in a while.
Dan and I were talking about it. I mean, she's the one character out of the women's division, with all due respect to everyone else, where every time she's there and she's talking, like, you feel that
she sells it.
She sells it, and she can turn it immediately. She can lead you to believe that she's finally a face, but then she just turns it.
I just wish she'd get rid of Mickie James. Mickie James has had enough time in the WWE at this point.
I mean, a lot of people are just there nowadays.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
She's a sidekick. But
yeah, at this point, do we really need the sidekick?
You could swap her out for somebody else who needs the screen time. I like Mickie, but I understand your point.
Yeah, that's where I stand with this.
And now we come down to AJ Styles versus Rusev for the WWE Championship. I like Rusev. I like the whole Rusev Day thing that's going on, but I kind of knew that Rusev was not going to win this particular match. I'm thinking a SummerSlam rematch, maybe.
Question: what day is it?
The New Day?
Wrong. What day is it?
Monday?
Wrong. It's Rusev Day.
Every time.
Wasn't it canceled?
Every day is Rusev Day.
You don't cancel Rusev Day.
Like they cancel half the pushes on the roster?
Good point. But, okay. With this match...
I would have been okay with Rusev winning.
I would have too.
But...
I mean, we were all rooting for Rusev, but Something told me that not tonight. It's
Yeah.
gonna happen, but not tonight.
Maybe.
Here's the thing, like, you have the character that Rusev is, like, he's kind of heelish. He's not really a face, but he's the guy that, like, yeah, he has probably one of the greatest gimmicks, but he's also been one of the wrestlers that, like, you've seen in a while that it's like, this guy deserves a title already.
Yeah.
And he almost could have had it last night. But then, I don't know how many of AJ Styles' finishers we saw last night, but it's just like, you used almost your entire repertoire, or your arsenal, to beat one man. And this man, with half a leg, almost beat you. I hope there's a build-up for
That's a good
SummerSlam.
storyline
I
perspective.
hope that Rusev, like, makes AJ Styles' life for the next month a living hell. That it has to lead to a greater match, probably a longer match. Because honestly, I think there could have been more in this match. Like,
Maybe an Iron Man match.
it is the right pay-per-view for it. I'll say that.
AJ Styles has said this one time, like in an interview outside of WWE, where he said, "If you pay attention to my matches, I always try to finish off the match like in different ways, like a calf crush or phenomenal forearm, Styles clash or roll up." And I think that's the thing with AJ is that even if he does exhaust his repertoire or his arsenal, there's always something that he can do.
Which I have no problem with.
Yeah.
I do not. It's just,
It keeps his matches fresh. Because
Yes.
then you don't know when it's going to end.
Because then it's not spear 1, 2, 3 pinfall.
The benefit of having multiple finishing maneuvers.
Roman Reigns.
you guys are the lost me from my point. But, oh no, I found it. My thing is, yeah, he finishes his matches differently, and he has a finisher in mind for said opponent.
Yes.
With Rusev, he had to use almost everything. I haven't seen that out of AJ in a while.
But back to your point, that's an excellent storyline perspective where Rusev comes out and says, "I want another one." AJ says, "No, you got your match. That's it." But Rusev says, "You had to use everything to beat me. It was a fluke. You cannot beat me."
And I had half a leg.
He plants that doubt in AJ's mind, and AJ's like, you know what? I am going to prove that I can beat you. I like that idea. I want them to commit to a side for Rusev, though, because they kind of played that respectful face thing, and then they went half heel, and you're like, what the hell? What are we doing?
Yeah, where's the angle going in this?
Just
Like, it looks great.
pick one. But no, that's not a bad idea for an angle. I'd be okay with it.
And SmackDown Live has been doing great as of recent. Better than Monday Night Raw, to be
A
honest.
3-hour show.
Why are you 3 hours?
You know, WCW was 3 hours, and even then they had crappy gimmicks, but the show still
What
managed to
what
attain.
channel can I find WCW on?
You can't find it on a cable channel, but you can find it on the WWE Network.
How much is that?
Ooh,
I think it's going currently for $9.99.
$9.99.
So $10?
No, $9.99.
Penny makes all the difference.
All the difference. I
Wait.
swear to God, if we don't get some reimbursement for this from the WWE, this one, you guys, I'm sorry, but words are gonna be coming out of my mouth for this one.
Oh, here we go.
Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins, 30-minute Iron Man match for the
Shawn
Intercontinental Championship.
Michaels versus Bret Hart. Oh, sorry, I'm still in the Adam.
Wrong era.
Sorry.
Shant, I feel like you have some thoughts you'd like to get off your chest first.
Before we start our review.
Do we have a second delay button?
No, but we've got 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7,
Oh
6,
my goodness.
5,
Are we done?
4,
Are we done?
3,
Are we done?
2,
Are we done?
1.
Are we done? Botch mania.
Okay. I get it. Fans are there. They want to have a good time. I get it. Once or twice, I don't got a problem with. But the fact that you do it 25 times.
Out of 30.
I remembered back to when they just introduced the Universal Championship and Finn Balor and Seth Rollins were having that match and everyone was booing like, "Oh, the title looks horrendous, it looks horrendous." And Seth Rollins even took to social media, is like, "Shame on you guys. Like, we're out there trying to put on a performance and all you guys care about is how a championship looks." And I kind of remember that now. I'm like, you have two of the best in today's roster. Ziggler, who can go, who's finally getting that push that he's deserved for so many years. Seth, and like the guy who made the Intercontinental Championship relevant along with The Miz this past year. and you guys are just throwing it away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and like
Not only are they throwing it away, but the fact that usually in pay-per-views that I've seen my whole life, it's always the WWE or back then WWF Championship. That's the main card.
right.
You have the Intercontinental title. I personally think that's a more prestigious title right now. It's been headlined as the main event with, like you said, 2 of this era's greatest wrestlers. And you fans are disgracing it with a countdown. Really. We did not need that. I was so looking forward to this. Even with everything that was going to happen in that match. I think we can get into the match.
Yeah, I mean, a fan reaction
I
aside.
was just going to talk about the fact that WWE even took the clock down at one point.
And then they start chanting,
And
"Where's
they
the
started,
clock?"
where's the clock? And then WWE gave them the clock back, and they started a yes chant.
Wrong. Before they did that, before the clock even got put back on,
They were just guessing.
randomly guessing. It was at 21 seconds you heard the 5, 4, 3, and I was like, "Are you serious?"
I would even say that maybe an Iron Man match doesn't have as much place in the current landscape of society as it used to, because I think people's attention spans are shorter, but it was still disrespectful.
I think an Iron Man match can exist, but not on I don't want to call these events lackluster pay-per-views, but like second card pay-per-views.
Yeah.
To me, main card pay-per-views are still Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, like those 4.
Iron Man at Survivor Series, Iron Man at WrestleMania would have been fine.
That would have been perfect for this match. But again, we get it at what's supposed to be an extreme event, which really wasn't.
Well, I mean, bottom line, both these guys got crapped on. Is the way I look at it.
But they still put on a show.
They did.
They still gave us a decent match. Yeah, Seth Rollins took a page out of the Golden State Warriors playbook by blowing a 3-0 lead and having Dolph come back.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You look at fans, they say, "Oh, make the Intercontinental Championship relevant. Oh, put Seth in the title picture. Oh, put Dolph in a title picture. Make these guys relevant. Make these guys, on the main event."
You get everything
You get everything you
want.
want, and then you find a way to just crap all over it. So I don't blame WWE for sometimes, actually 9 times out of 10, not listening to their fans, because that's the crap that they pull.
Look what you've done, Pittsburgh. Look what you've done.
Anyway.
But the thing, even then too, like, before we go to the next one, because I think we're all just upset about the way this event ended, the fact that it took a tie and for Kurt Angle, the hometown hero, to keep the match going in a sudden death, 1 pin and elimination, even that was lackluster, because out of nowhere you got Drew McIntyre, aka Diesel. We thought he was banned from ringside. Technically, he was.
He was.
For the Iron Man match. Not overtime.
Not overtime.
He didn't even have to do anything to Seth. He takes the blow. Dolph capitalizes. It was, 10, 15 seconds into the overtime match?
It was
To
quick.
me, that's like... I think you're just trying to end the show at this point.
Well, especially with the way the crowd had been acting through the entire match, I wouldn't have sent Kurt out there to give them a treat. I'd have been like, you know what? They want to just heckle this match. Nah, Kurt, you chill. We'll just tell the ref to tell them wrap up the match.
Yeah. We could have done it that way. But no.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pittsburgh fans who behave themselves.
So there you go, guys. We broke down the match card for Extreme Rules. We previewed SummerSlam. We're gonna have to see what happens. So thank you for joining us on another episode of the Anything Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you all next time.